Kia ora and hello to our viewers across New Zealand and Australia. I'm Philip Duncan. We've got this big area of low pressure. It is impacting both Aussie and New Zealand over the next couple of days, and then it does finally start to ease. But it's going to bring severe weather to both countries, including heavy rain, strong winds, and in Australia, heavy snow. So let's try and make sense of it. On the animated wind map, here is the centre of this system and the winds going around it all the way off Australia, the Tasman, and into the South Island. High pressure near the North Island, bringing down a much milder airflow out of the subtropics and out of the north. That will help lift your temperatures up, especially overnight. In other words, no frosts as that system starts to come on through. But look at all of this low pressure, so you can see why both Australia and New Zealand are impacted by the same one big system. Rain-wise, there is a lot of rain. Now, Met Service has issued a red warning for this. This is the highest level warning they've got, basically saying this isn't your everyday rain warning. Not that rain warnings are everyday things either, but this one's a little bit more intense. Now, we do sometimes see from time to time rainfall totals of 300 to 400 millimetres on the west coast, but this is falling in just a couple of days. And to me, the more important feature is that it's at the northern end of the South Island, not the southern end, not down here in Fiordland, the rainforest, one of the wettest places on planet Earth. You go up the road, it's usually a lot drier. So this time it's the other way around. All the heavy rains at the top of the island, it spills over therefore into Nelson and into Marlborough, and some spill over towards Canterbury, which is a concern following the recent flooding. We're hopeful that the totals just won't be enough to cause a problem, but this area here with the pink shading still shows 70 to 90 millimetres coming. So there's a lot of rain, and that's the reason why Met Service has issued that warning. And you can find all the Met Service warnings now live on the Weather Watch website. I mentioned the snow. Look at this over on the Aussie side. So as that colder change comes in, they've got 30, 40 centimetres of snow right up near Sydney on the mountains and hills there, and Hobart as well, but the bulk of the snow actually in that southeastern corner of Australia. And this wind map also shows the size of this system, because you've got these gales over here. The shaded areas show gusts. So in this shaded area here, you're talking about winds gusting well over 120 kilometres an hour. That's the southerly side of this big low. And then over on the New Zealand side, down come the nor'westers and the northerlies, and the winds perhaps not quite as intense as on the Aussie side to begin with, but they will get stronger. This is Friday afternoon, but it's actually Saturday afternoon that the worst of those winds move into the North Island, and both Met Service and Weather Watch are about on the same page with this one. 140 kilometre an hour gusts are possible in New Zealand. Let's go now to Saturday, exactly what I was talking about. So these areas here in the bright sort of pink purpley colours, you're getting up to 120, 130, potentially 140 around the mountains and ranges down here, and then sliding up a wee bit along the Hawke's Bay ranges. But either way, very, very windy, as well as that heavy rain that's pushing in to the northwestern side of the South Island. And we've got big swells, and it's not very often that we're showing you these Aussie/New Zealand maps to paint the picture, but this does it really well. So again, this is for Saturday morning. Big waves coming in here towards Adelaide. Obviously Adelaide's a little bit further inland, but these coastal areas are seeing 10, 11 metre waves. And then over on the New Zealand side, we've got 5, 6 metre waves building up as that system moves in, and it's all going around that one big low that's parked down here. Those big waves coming up that side and then coming down that way. So this is a very big system to focus on. So let's take a look at the normal maps. Here is the Saturday setup. All low pressure in this zone. Windy nor'westers, we just told you about those gale force winds. So really from about Marlborough all the way up to about Gisborne and over to about Auckland, those are the areas most impacted by gale force winds. Auckland's sort of on the outer edges, gusts to 80 k's maybe possible there, but it's really down in the lower eastern side of the North Island where those gusts to 140 kilometres an hour, maybe even 150 on the hilltops possible as that comes through, and a lot of low pressure stuck over you. And of course all that rain falling again still for day number 3 now in those areas. As we get into Sunday, low pressure is focused here just off the west coast. We've still got plenty of showers, still raining in central New Zealand, but the winds still blustery, but not as bad as they've been. So you'd start to find those winds maybe easing a wee bit as we get in towards Sunday. By the time we get to Monday, it has gone over to the eastern side. The Chatham Islands have that low pressure system, and it's shrunk right down. It's getting smaller and smaller. Considering that side's got the southerly and that side's got the nor'wester, whereas right now it's over near Adelaide and the other side's coming in around New Zealand. So the whole system does start to shrink down by the time we get into next week. As we get into Tuesday, we've got high pressure to the north of us. It's a little bit colder further south, but here comes the next system in for the southeastern corner of Australia. Your next cold front, your next surge of windy weather. And then by the middle of next week, Wednesday, that system moves over to New Zealand. Note, these are northerlies. So we've got a much milder week coming up than the last 2 or 3 weeks have been. Have we gone past the peak part of winter? We won't know for a few more weeks, but maybe. But we're not done yet with winter. We've still got plenty more wintry weather. There's another cold southerly coming in here after this for later next week, but at this stage, too far out to lock in. Not expecting it to be a major blast at this stage, but still could be another pulse of colder weather coming in later next week. That is all from me. Don't forget to keep up to date with those Met Service warnings. You can find them all at the Weather Watch website. And we've also got New Zealand's most accurate rainfall data. So if you want to check out your local rainfall forecasts, powered by IBM Watson, check out your local Weather Watch forecast, or for much more detail, go to ruralweather.co.nz. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Stay indoors if you need to. We'll see you on Monday.